wonder why content marketing is important? Ever wonder if it actually is important? Well, if you're an entrepreneur or you have a business of any kind, content marketing is what will help you scale to unbelievable growth and sustain it, but not in the way you think. Traditionally, content marketing is SEO, it's long blog posts, it's white papers, ebooks, Gary Vee posting on social media 15 times a day. Boring. And while that may have worked in the past, it's now slow, crowded, and competition is at an unprecedented high. So if you want to get above the grind of a traditional business, begging your friends and family to buy from you on Facebook or just throwing money at paid ads, then you've got to do things a little bit differently, and I'll break it down for you over the next few minutes. So once we understood this and started implementing this strategy in our own business, we saw a 428% increase in year-over-year growth, and we've since helped over 50 brands and entrepreneurs to do the same. When done right, content marketing will help you bring in clients on autopilot, shorten your sales cycle, increase close and show rates, and produce cash on demand. I'm going to show you what they won't tell you about content marketing, and if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you 3 things you should be doing in your content strategy right now, but most likely aren't. So let's jump in. Reason number 1 why content marketing is important. It's the best and cheapest way to generate the right kind of attention for your brand. If you're not able to get eyeballs on what you're selling, then your business will die. And your number 1 priority as the founder is sales. So that means you need to get everything off your plate that's not bringing in cash. Ultimately, your time should be spent on creating the right content that's getting you and your brand attention. There's a direct correlation between attention and revenue generated. So let's take a look at the valuations of the most popular social media platforms. And you can see that the platforms with the most attention, measured here by hours spent on the platform, have a higher valuation. It's the same reason that companies with a big list, audience, or following are often acquired by competitors, and they have a higher valuation. Gary Vaynerchuk, who now has a net worth of over $200 million, built his entire career on this idea. He says that attention is the number 1 asset to be traded, and he looks for attention arbitrage. Where is the attention underpriced so that your input yields a disproportionate return? Where can I put in the same amount and get the most bang for my buck? Without attention, it doesn't matter how great your idea is. A perfect example is OfficesToShare.com, a site built by a New York real estate broker that lets large companies with excess office space rent it out. The founder believed that this would make him the next Jeff Bezos, and he spent most of his life savings on building out the website as his first step. Once it was done, he went on to trying to sell people on advertising space on the site, only to find that no one wanted it. Spending the little that he had left, he attempted some advertising schemes with no luck. Let's compare this to the founder of Street Glow, a company that sells LED lights to go under a car. The founder of this company had about $1,000 to his name when he created a very rough prototype of his idea. And he then devoted the rest of his time to selling this idea to auto shops and car enthusiasts at different events. He took deposits first for the orders he received, then built out the products to fulfill them, and continued this while always reinvesting the profits, focused on building attention. Now, Street Glow is worth over $20 million. So the lesson here, sales follow attention, and attention is the lifeblood of a business. Attention is ultimately what's required to convert cold strangers into paying clients. People are bombarded by ads, companies, and influencers trying to sell them all day long. But ultimately, people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. And this brings us to reason number 2 why content marketing is important. It's the best and fastest way to build trust, which is required to convert strangers to loyal clients. Building that trust, getting someone that's never heard of you to give you money, takes an enormous amount of time and energy. Traditional models focus on doing this manually, going to networking events, one-on-one sales calls or discovery calls, more meetings, and long follow-ups, and so on. Most businesses rely on word of mouth or referrals, and this is not sustainable and severely limits your growth. If you only rely on those that you know to buy from you, you just cut your potential pool into fractions. So here's what I mean. Of all the people that make up your market, maybe about 15% of them know of you. What about the other 85% of people, though, that have never ever heard of you and have no clue you exist? If you're looking to scale, you need a predictable way to generate new business. And the only way to do that is to have a process in place that hooks the attention of people that don't know you, builds up trust quickly, and converts them to a paying client in a predictable amount of time. And when you leverage the right content strategy, not only can you do that, but you can automate it. You can create content once, spend a few hours up front, never touch it again, and it goes to work for you day in and day out, generating views and leads. There's a concept that says to make a big decision, we have to spend 7 hours of time with that decision. And in the business world, this means that a prospect needs 7 hours of exposure to your company, your product or service, and you in order to eventually buy from you. So reason number 3 why content marketing is important: it accelerates and automates the 7-hour rule. So for example, let's take a look at the old way of this process. So we can see here that the old way, the prospect might see one of your social media posts, and maybe they go to your Instagram or your Facebook and they see a few more posts. So all in all, they spend about 20 or 30 minutes with your social media. Maybe they see a post that triggers them to go book a call with you, and so they do, and that process takes about 10 minutes. From there, maybe you have it set up where they receive reminders, reminding them about the call as it's coming up, and that is about 10 to 20 minutes or so. Then from there, they jump on a demo call with you. Maybe you spend about an hour explaining why you're so great, what you do, and why you are the choice for them. And after that, they tell you everything looks really good, but they want to think about it. Maybe you send another follow-up. Maybe you send a few testimonials or case studies, maybe an additional 10, 20 minutes there, and then you never hear from them again. And this is all because, all in all, and I'm being generous here, your prospect spent about 2 hours with you, your company, or your product or service. Versus when you leverage content in the right way, and we go to the new way of generating sales, we can see that it starts off the same way. Maybe they see a social post and they start going through your content. They spend about 20 to 30 minutes there exploring your social media. Eventually, they find a piece of content that pushes them over to your YouTube channel, and they go down the rabbit hole there and start watching some of your videos. So maybe all in all, they spend about 90 minutes there. Then they forget about you, they go on with their lives, they see another post from you on another platform that they're on, and maybe they continue the process and consume some more content there for another 20 or 30 minutes. Eventually, they visit your website and they watch your video sales letter, spend another 90 minutes with you, and they book a call, another 10 minutes. From there, after they book the call, you send them to a thank you page that has curated content down that thank you page, and they continue to consume more and more content, another 20 to 30 minutes. Then, leading up to the call, they get an email drip sequence from you with testimonials, case studies, stories, results that you're getting for clients, and spend another 20 or 30 minutes with you leading up to the demo call. They spend an hour or so with you on the demo call. After the call, you send them additional case studies and testimonials that they're reading through. Maybe they spend another hour with you top of mind, and eventually you send one last follow-up and they close. And this method gets them much closer to that 7-hour mark, clocking in at 6.7 hours. So in fact, here's the proof. When we implemented this in our own company, we decided to leverage some content that we already had and just put it together into an email drip follow-up sequence that started when someone booked a call with us. So leading up to the call, they got a sequence of emails full of case studies, stories, results, testimonials, and these emails all have open rates of over 70%, by the way. Immediately, our show rates skyrocketed by 121%, and we went from 33% of people that booked a call with us actually showing up to the call to over 70% overnight. We put in a couple hours of work one time and never touched it again, but it made a dramatic impact on our sales process and ultimately cash collected. What would happen to your business if you could more than double your show rates, meaning that you have double the amount of conversations overnight? So at this point, you're thinking, content marketing sounds great, but it sounds like a lot of work. Isn't it easier to just go run paid ads? So many entrepreneurs get an idea for a business, they think it's great, and that all they have to do is run a couple of Facebook ads and they'll be the next Jeff Bezos. Remember our New York broker friend I mentioned earlier? That was his method too. And it ended in plenty of wasted time and money, absolutely nothing to show for it. So converting cold traffic with paid ads takes a lot more than just slapping together a creative post and paying to put it in front of people. If you can't build that trust, those ads won't convert. And it takes repeated exposure and value exchange along with authority and credibility to eventually convert to a sale. Because of that, organic content is a much more efficient and cost-effective way to do this. In fact, organic content is proving to bring in much more qualified leads, ones that are 75 times more likely to convert to a sale when compared to leads brought in with paid ads alone. And another reason relying on paid ads is a bad idea is because you're now platform dependent. Facebook ad accounts are being banned left and right with little to no explanation as to why. Algorithms are changing constantly on social media platforms and even pay-per-click like Google. You could lose your entire business overnight if this is your only way to generate attention and you don't have a source of traffic that you actually own. Meaning, people you can reach without having to rely on a platform or paying to reach them, such as an email list that you built with great content. At the end of the day, paid ads have their place, but it's only after you have an offer that's converting predictably and organically. You can use a retargeting campaign once you know that your content is valuable, serving ads to those that have already viewed your content, which is highly effective and much cheaper compared to running ads to completely cold audiences. All right, so you're sold. Content marketing is important in your business, but how do you do this in a way that actually converts? How do you leverage content marketing to get results like a 428% increase in year-over-year revenue or 121% increase in show rates? Here are 3 things that you need to be doing with your content right now, but most entrepreneurs aren't. Number 1, give away your best stuff for free. So many times coaches, consultants, and businesses are terrified to give away the secret sauce, and it's the thing that's holding them back, and then they walk away thinking content marketing doesn't work. Here's the thing, most people are lazy. They won't take action. So even if you give them the step-by-step, they either won't implement it, or they will try and fail, or they'll want someone to walk them through it. The 10% that actually do take action won't be your clients anyways, or if they are, they're just gonna want more help from you and be willing to pay for it. So by giving away high-value content that your perfect client actually wants, you separate yourself from the competition that's only doing high-level stuff. You set yourself up as the expert and build massive authority and credibility in an instant. This works because of the Law of Reciprocity, which taps into human psychology. This law states that humans naturally are inclined to want to give back when they feel that they've been given something of value. So when you give, and give some more in your free content, people will want to return the favor and they'll want to know what you give them when they actually pay for it. The best content is content that educates and has utility. So don't shy away from long-form content, because if it explains in depth how to solve a problem your audience has, people will engage with it. They'll share it and they will trust you, and then they'll rave about you to their friends. Remember, content does no good if people don't engage with it and if it doesn't actually generate attention. People engage when it has an impact on their own lives. Remember, people don't care about what you do, only what you can do for them. So your content should aim to educate and solve problems. And if you're only creating high-level, watered-down content because you're scared to give away your secrets, then people just won't engage. The second thing you should be doing with your content, but likely aren't, is simplifying your strategy. The advice of posting 10 times a day on all major social platforms doesn't work because it prevents you from focusing. It overcomplicates. And when something is complicated, we don't stick to it. Instead, use the idea of attention arbitrage and find where the attention is underpriced. Then create content specifically for that platform and that platform only. At Upper Hand, we teach our clients how to do this and then give them our team that will promote this content for them across the other social media platforms. So it's not that you'll ignore the other channels, but you'll use them to drive traffic back to your main channel where your full-length content will live. This ensures you get the maximum engagement and reach. But by focusing on one platform, it simplifies the content creation process, allowing you to work 90% less while getting 3 times the reach. This is exactly what we did for Will, who had little time to promote his own brand before working with us. And now he's able to increase his content output by over 60% while having hours back to focus on other things in his business. So what's the best platform these days where the attention is underpriced? For most of you, it's going to be YouTube for a lot of reasons that are too extensive for me to cover in this video. But I'll link to a full-length training down below on why YouTube and how you can still be omnipresent on other important platforms like LinkedIn without any additional work. For one, video is ranking 50 times higher in organic search results than just text. And organic search results are driving 10 times more traffic than just social media posts alone, according to recent blog posts on highervisibility.com and impactplus.com. YouTube is a powerhouse for even the most unlikely businesses. As the second largest search engine in the world and a place where people go actively to look for answers to their problems, the opportunities are endless. Lastly, the third thing you need to be doing is leveraging the content you're creating in your sales cycle from start to finish. Most of the time, we think about content as just a way to draw people in, but at the heart of it, content is what builds the relationship, builds the curiosity, the credibility, and does the selling for you. So create a main asset like a video sales letter where you first educate on how to do whatever it is that your product or service does for people, and then explain how people can get what they want faster, better, and cheaper by working with you than they can by doing it on their own. Use this video as a pre-call asset, meaning anyone that books a call with you or your team has to first consume this video. Then you can use other content to send leading up to the call. This should be content that directly addresses beliefs your audience holds that might prevent them from working with you, or beliefs about your specific industry or service that you need to address. It should also be about common objections or questions that you're getting on your sales calls. The idea is to address all roadblocks and shatter any limiting beliefs and replace them with new ones before they get on a call with you. You'll also want to have social proof, stories, case studies of real results, testimonials, all of that dripped out to them before the call as well in an email series that's automated. When you do this right, their only question when they do get on a call with you is, what's the next step and where do they pay? When you don't have this in place, you spend your calls explaining who you are, what you do, and why you're so great. Your content should be doing that for you. Use a thank you page after they book a call as well to push them back into your content funnel. So instead of just a standard "you're booked" page, curate your best assets and content and put them onto that thank you page. Direct them to look through the additional resources to get the most out of their time with you on the call. So congrats. You're now light years ahead of your competition in understanding exactly how a content marketing strategy can scale your coaching or consulting or online business. But do you know how to make sure that you're creating the right content, that it shows up in search results and gets engagement, or how to automate 95% of this process so that you are omnipresent on every social platform without posting all day? Check out my free training to have me walk you through this step by step over at get.upperhandcreative.com/learn. And as always, comment down below with your favorite takeaway.